All right, guys, this is Frank Salinas. Welcome here to another interview I got with friends of mine and business professionals. Today I have Bob Yeager. Welcome, Bob. How you doing?
All right, Frank. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, doing good. For those who might not know Bob, Bob has been in the digital marketing industry for over 24 years. He's out of Pittsburgh, and he's well respected in this industry as a no-nonsense, anti-hype kind of marketer. He's a professional copywriter. He's consulted for hundreds of companies and entrepreneurs, and he helps them with strategic marketing. He's worked with people such as Billy Mays, and for those who have been around this industry for a while, Jim Rohn. If you don't know him, you need to know him. He's been helping marketing legends like them, and he's here to share his knowledge today and imparting to us something that you can walk away with after this interview and implement into your life, into your business. And hopefully I did you some justice there, Bob. And let's just get started. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You didn't say anything mean about me, so it's all good.
Right. That's good. I'm starting this video interviewing series just really for two reasons. One, selfishly, so that I, rub elbows with all my friends that I've known for all these years, and extract as much knowledge that I can from them in this little bit of time that we're sharing. Yep. And use it for myself and my business and my life. But another reason is so my subscribers and people that follow me can get to know you, and you might have something they might reach out to you for. And then also long term, Ron, I interviewed my friend Ron yesterday. You know Ron, and
Ron Douglas.
Yeah, we're doing it for the kids. And I'm doing this for my kids and their kids and their kids that are, 10, 20, 30 years from now. One day I want them to be, looking us up, watching this and say, man, that's my grandfather or my great grandfather. I didn't know he was so handsome and his friend was so smart, something like that. So whatever you can do.
My kids already say that, dude,
Yeah. Whatever you can do to, I'm going to do my best to maybe ask some questions that you might have never been asked before. And I'm doing it from a standpoint of what we can do to contribute to our legacy and help those that maybe don't even exist yet, in our family lineage. So thank you again. So let's get started. Why don't you just let people know a little bit about Bob Yeager, where you're from, how you got started, your background, and what you did before the business world and entrepreneurship.
Oh, well, that was the thing. I started off in the business world actually 25 years ago when I was 16. So I'm 41. I just turned 41. So I didn't start off on the internet. I started off, beating the streets, talking on the phones, and writing copy for Billy Mays when I was 16 years old. Wow. He lived right up the street from me at the time. I was being mentored by this old business guy. His name's Henry Hillman. You guys can look him up. He's been around forever. He's one of the richest people in the United States, and he lived right up the street from me too. We weren't rich. My family took care of cemeteries when I was a kid. Our family had done that for about 100 years. And I was the last one that said, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm done. So right after my dad passed away, I closed down that family side of the business, which was only a few years ago. When we first met, I was still helping the family run the cemeteries and stuff like that too, man. But when I started off in the business, it was Billy came to me. He said, hey, Mr. Hillman says you're pretty good at writing. You think you can write some copy for me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I didn't know what copy was. I had no idea. I said, now, can you tell me what that is exactly? And he shows me a printed page. And I said, I could probably do something with this, and I wrote it up. And it was like, he came down to my house about a day later, grabbed it, faxed it over to some guy, handed me $3,000 and walked away. And it was like the next week he asked me to write another one, and it just kept snowballing from there. But for me, it was like, I think I was lucky enough that I didn't get jaded by businesses like this, and sales have to be like this, and writing has to be like this, and this is the way this is all done. No, I was just thrown right into it, and it's like I did it my way, and people asked me to do it my way, even though I'd never really purposely done any of it before. So when Billy asked me, it's because Henry saw that I could write and I could sell, but I had never been trained to write and sell. So it was Henry's way of saying, don't tarnish this kid. Let him do his thing. Go down there and see if he can do it for you. And it just kept happening like that. So and I wasn't a rich person, man. My dad made like $150 a week when I was a kid, right? Kept us fed and everything. But if money came in, that meant money was getting saved.
Right.
You know, so it wasn't like I was going and buying fast cars and all this stuff. It was like, you know, 2 years after I started making all this money, like 16 to 18, move away from home, got diagnosed with cancer, had that for 8 years. And almost every dime I had either went into my trust that I was building up for myself, or it went into paying medical bills.
Right.
So it was like there was no fancy cars and jets, and I still don't live like that. Like, you know me, I live out in the country and everything now, man. You know.
But you do love your freedom, right?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. That's why I still work at home, man.
Exactly. And so when you first got started writing copy, what got you interested in that whole industry? Like before you started doing things for Billy Mays, how did you start studying stuff at school? Did you like advertising? Did you like stuff to get in the mail, or how did that start?
Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, I was the kid that, yeah, I think all of us were. We watched commercials on TV instead of the TV show, so we talked through the show. Mm-hmm. And then when the commercials came on, we'd shut up and just watch them, right? Because we liked them. But it was other things too. You know, I started selling it when I was in the martial arts, because I was in the martial arts when I was real little, all the way up until I was like 27. I was 12. I'd sold on stage for fundraisers for the martial arts and stuff, right? But also my great-great-grandfather, my great-grandfather, his brother, Ellsworth Yeager, which is spelled with a J. It changed after my grandfather went to war. Jaeger, if you look him up, he's a famous outdoors writer. And he was the curator for the Buffalo Museum of Science, very famous guy in that industry. And I actually write in that industry under that pen name J as well, like the Jaeger. He was an old ad guy, and he got into the outdoors stuff. He really loved it. And he was curating a museum, creating these kind of like, he helped the Boy Scouts of America develop their plan and everything. And I was just kind of like, man, these books laid around all the time when I was a kid around our house. And I loved his drawings, and I loved the way he wrote and everything. And I was always writing these little stories. Little did I know that that's what copy was. It was story. Take away everything else, it's a good story, right? So that's actually his writing. When I was a little kid, him and Jack London and a lot of novelists and stuff, they were what inspired me to want to write. And that's how I started writing copy. When Billy had me write that first sales page, it wasn't, he asked me, he goes, what do you think's wrong with this? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just kind of boring. It doesn't have really a story or anything. Like, it's not like that coffee commercial when you were a kid and a little girl wakes up and her older brother comes home and it's cold outside and they're making coffee together and the parents get up and everybody hugs and cries, right? They didn't have to sell the coffee. All they had to do was sell the story, right? And that's what got me into copy, and that's what got me into sales. I love sales because I don't have to sell anything. I just have to tell a compelling story or help share a compelling story with somebody that needs this thing that I have. Right.
No, perfect. And then you mentioned sales, and that's what I want to go. Maybe we'll talk sales and entrepreneurship. And this interview, I want to help anyone, whether they're getting into digital marketing, whether they're starting a newsletter, maybe they're selling, who knows, some kind of MLM thing, or they just want to start a freaking food truck.
MLM, the gateway drug to entrepreneurialism.
Right. Yeah. It all relates to selling. And we all have to sell. You know, if anyone's watching this is married, hey, we've sold somebody, right? Mm-hmm. So why don't you touch on what advice as far as getting into being an entrepreneur, whatever it might be, whatever industry, what advice would you give someone who's just starting out, venturing into entrepreneurship?
Quite honestly, is my first thing is get rid of all expectations. It's never going to be what you think it is. If you've never done something, you've never been there, you never started a business or even tried to go down this road, it's never going to be what you think it is. Tell me if I'm wrong, man. When you started down this road, does this today look anything like what you thought when you started this stuff?
No. When I started, I was totally different. But hey, guess what? I wouldn't change it because I'm still here. You know?
Yep, that's it. And then like when I started, I wasn't looking for starting a business. Even when I kind of left the offline world, I didn't really leave it. I just kind of walked away for a little bit and said, I don't really want to do the platform speaking anymore. I don't want to always be the behind the scenes guy for everybody else all the time. You know, meanwhile, I've gone back to that a lot. You know that, right? But it was around 2003 and I came online and I'm like, I'm kind of just looking to start my own kind of like little book thing. I want to release books and stuff. And it wasn't even internet marketing or it wasn't any of that stuff. Like I still, you know me, I don't teach internet marketing. I teach selling and copy and here's how to come up with a strategic goal for your business and stuff. That's what I teach, but I don't create products around it anymore. I'm just like, nah, you know, I'll write copy now. So it fluctuates. When you're an entrepreneur, you're kind of like, okay, I'm kind of bored with that one. Now I'm going to do this, or that one's really doing really well and I can just run on its own pretty much, or I can have other people run it. So I'm going to go do this. And I think the most important thing when you first get started is, for one focus, one business focus. Don't try to have an MLM and have some ebooks out and have this and have that. Not one thing. Start with one, right? Number two is get somebody to show you how to do it. No joke. Oh man, can you imagine when we first started if somebody just said, here you go, this is how you do it?
Yeah.
Man. And don't be mad at that person when it doesn't work out exactly the way they may have implied that it would. Because there's a different variable in there now, and that's you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're different. You're going to try to reinvent that thing, and you're going to screw it up. Or you might make it better, and you might do it better than they did it. At first, it's about get the fundamentals, the foundation, the pillars, the basics. Learn how to hone that craft, getting the basics down. Learn that from very experienced people. And you'll buy this course, that one, read all these books, and you'll there's like these 7 fundamentals, and that's it. And then you add your own thing to it once you get those things perfect. But I always just say, don't expect anything. Oh, man, I'm building up people's dreams, right? Don't expect anything.
Right.
And find somebody to show you how to get it started. Don't go it on your own. I'm telling you, it may seem great to do it on your own. Nope. 5 years into it, you'll be like, I probably should have got some help doing this.
Right. No, that's what I can relate to that, because when I first got started, I was just trying to do things. I'd read about somebody making money in a certain way, and I wouldn't go study from anyone. I would just say, oh, they're doing this. Let me go try it, without any kind of idea of what I was doing. So yeah, I had no mentoring, no one.
Yeah, what are those things after they did that you're not seeing in that process, right? Yeah. Or most importantly, Frank, you know what I think it is? And a friend of mine, Lee Collins, and we've said this for years. He did the hybrid marketing that Frank Kern released to his people and that Mark Joyner bought and sold, like gave away to all of his clients. Lee created that. Lee even helped StomperNet get back on their feet before they went like that again. He and I used to tell clients all the time, the way we can tell if people know what they're talking about is how do they take care of things when everything goes wrong. If somebody's telling us about how everything's so right and it's all good, and I made $2 million, I made a $10 million launch, I did this and this, they're always hyping up the good, but they never talk about when everything goes south, right? I'll try to keep the language clean for you, bro. And they don't show you how they fixed it, or they don't show you how they overcame, or they don't show you how they fell down and got back up and fell down and got back up and kept, every time they get back up a little bit higher and higher and higher, right? But it's the people that know what to do when everything goes wrong. Those are the ones I want to have show me how to do stuff. Because anybody can tell me what to do when everything's going right. Nobody knows how to bullshit their way through when everything goes wrong, right? Yeah, and that's the thing, right? And they don't, whatever business you're joining, you have to understand that things are going to go wrong. You're going to, the shit's going to hit the fan, and you're not going to have all the answers sometimes. So it's always best to, whatever system you're going, is to follow some sort of system, like you're saying, from someone that already knows, who's been through that stuff, and listen to them so that you're not wasting your time trying to recreate the wheel when they've said, this is how it goes. And like you're saying, results may vary, but they know how it worked for them. So why are you second guessing their system? Regardless of what you're doing, whether it's an offline business, online business, there's people out there, like Bob's saying, listen to them, because we're telling you, follow what we're doing, because we've been through it. We've had the things go wrong. We've had the account shut down. We've had the letters in the, email or letters accounts shut down for no apparent freaking reason. They don't even give you right reasons sometimes, right? Yeah. But look, even, you interviewed Ron Douglas the other day, right? Dude, I'd already been in marketing and ads and everything else since the dawn of freaking time, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, Ron released his $5 a day
Yeah.
Facebook strategy, right? And I'm like, I suck at Facebook ads. I'm going to try this out. I use that strategy to do it. Now, will it still work now? I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't need it now because I hire other people to do that stuff because I'm like, you know what? I hate this stuff, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to have somebody else do it for me. But it's even us, and this is the, oh man, just look around this industry, man. How many people have disappeared, right? How many of the veterans are still out there, but they're kind of not really doing a lot, some of them, right? And then how many do we know, and we're not going to name their names, but how many do we know that are just on constant struggle mode?
Mhm.
Right? That they're on that hamster wheel. They used to be on top. And then when the launch crack wore off, basically, they weren't able to churn and burn anymore. Now they're just spinning their wheels, spinning their wheels, spinning their wheels. Well, why? Because they're like, I don't need mentoring. I'm not going to pay for that stuff. Dude, I still invest 40 to 60 grand a year in mentoring. Me, personally, 40 to 60 grand a year. That's not just into my business. It's into me.
Yeah.
Right? Dude, part of that's chiropractor treatment, whether I need it or not, to keep myself healthy and to keep myself aligned and everything. So this is where everybody starts to fail. I'm real good. I don't need any of that. You know what? They're so full of shit. Even the ones that say they don't need it and don't have it or do really well, they got a circle of friends they get it from for free all the time. They just don't realize it.
That's true. Yeah.
You know?
Too many people think it was just all them when it's no, it's your surroundings, your influence, you're putting yourself around winners. That's rubbing off on you, whether you think it is or not. Even though the people that don't subscribe to that mentality, I'm sure you probably subscribe to that as well. I'm a big believer in environment, who you're around, who you're associating with. So if you're around people that are moving and shaking, that's rubbing off on you in a good way, you know? Yep. And so, yeah, exactly right. I agree with you 100%. And it's like, what do we do? Like, we all want to, help people. Most marketers I know, people in business, we all love helping. We love helping in one way or another, whether it's with, specific stuff, digital things related online, or whether it's mindset or anything else. When it comes to, let's say you're helping some family members, and I'm sure some people probably come to you before, I don't know what you do, but can you show me? If someone's on a budget in their industry or their business, whether it's a food truck or a restaurant or someone online, if they're on a budget and they have a full-time job, and you mentioned you invest into mentoring, more than most American, the average American makes 50 grand a year. Mm-hmm. What do you recommend someone on a budget who might be starting their business on a part-time basis and they still have the full-time job?
I'd give you one tip. When it comes to family and neighbors and friends and people in my community, I tell them to go get a job. I tell them to go, here, I'll help you find something. Hey, I know this guy down the road, or this guy down here is looking for somebody. Hey, I'll buy you a suit so you can go on interviews. I do that all the time. There's a reason why. You're going to always have this thing where the people in your family and your friends and, what I call my past life, right? Before the entrepreneurial, let's just say when I first took my wife to an internet marketing conference and a bunch of people come around us really quick while we were at breakfast, she was pregnant, freaked her out. She hasn't been to another conference since then. It freaked her out. She's like, what the hell is that? I'm like, don't worry. That's just people. There's that guy that does that stuff, right? But that's what made me back off too. But your friends and family won't treat you that way. Mm-hmm. If you're the younger brother, you're always going to be the younger brother. Hey, look at that guy. If you're the next door neighbor that's out like me, I look like a total redneck, man. I'm out hunting and trapping in my own woods, and I'm on my tractor and stuff, and everybody's like, oh, there goes Bob. He's building something else out there. Wonder what he does. You'll have people be like, well, I wonder if he's a drug dealer or something.
Yeah. He's always
at home, and he's got these great big giant trucks. He's always got something new he's driving around, and it's just, I like mucking around in the mud, right? But my big advice to most people is get a stable source of income first. Take care of your family, okay? And this is going against the grain of what all entrepreneurs say.
Right.
If you're like a high school kid and you're kind of like, I really wanted to go to college, but I want to start my own business. I'm like, okay, listen, go to college. Okay. Not right out the gate, Ivy League school and all that stuff. You got plenty of time to do that kind of thing. Go to a community college. Okay. See what that's like.
Yeah.
If it's good for you, keep on going. Get the degree or whatever. If it's not, well, you can be working on this other stuff in the meantime, because you don't have to have a ton of money or any at all, really, to start learning and consuming the information of business. It's holy crap. When the internet came out, remember when we were kids? when this came alive, not when the internet first came. I mean, I was on the billboards and everything else, in the forums and everything, chit-chatting away before it was the internet. Everybody's like, what is internet? What is it? There was no Twitter or any of that stuff, but it wasn't, I got bored with it. I'm like, that sucks. I'm not even going to use it. When this came about 2003, 2004, that's when it started picking up. YouTube came on the scene, and, all these things, and MySpace, that's what we used to use to market with, right? We did MySpace, same way we're doing Facebook now, really. Those things started coming around. I started looking at it, and I'm like, I need to learn how to use this. Well, nobody was teaching how to use it the way we needed to use it. So we just started doing it. Not risking a ton of money or anything like, no, we just started doing it. We started writing things. I wonder if people will respond to this. Hey, I wonder how. But then we started learning, well, hey, this is like the old offline stuff that we do. So why don't we just take that, the direct response marketing stuff, Eugene Schwartz stuff, David Ogilvy stuff. I'm mentioning names, so everybody should be writing them down if they've never heard of these guys, and look up their books and take their books out of the library, or I don't know, use the freaking internet to read them, because you'll probably find a bootleg download somewhere, right? Chet Holmes is the ultimate sales machine. He's the guy that coined the term webinar. Mm-hmm. I was literally listening to the call him and Ted Miller were on before Chet Holmes died, where Ted Miller and Chet coined the term webinar. Nobody had ever heard that word before, right? So the ultimate sales machine, how to win friends and influence people. Wow, does that teach you a lot about selling? It's not even meant for that, but it does, right? Yeah. Spin selling. So we just started saying, hey, we could apply all this methodology to this, because all it really is get in front of a group of people that need a thing. You just happen to have that thing, or you can find that thing because you could be an affiliate easily. I tell everybody, start as an affiliate, right? Sell other people's stuff. If that works for you, guess what? Make your own stuff better than other people's stuff. Sell that, right? That's in the digital realm, and that's in the physical realm. It's the same exact thing. But one thing I've told college kids for years is either telemarketing or door-to-door. That's where you start.
Yeah, because that'll build up your skin and cut your teeth, and you're going to learn so much from doing that.
I started, when I was 19, I started a meat wholesale company. You know those guys with the pickup trucks with the freezer on the back?
Down on the meat, yeah.
I started a fleet of them. Uh-huh. I had like 17, 18 trucks. We were different than everybody else that was doing it. We had Allegheny County Health Department labels on them. We had them looking at our freezers and checking off the check boxes, putting those labels on. We had power inverters instead of just throwing dry ice in there and hoping that everything stayed cold. Power inverters. We had a display shelf that folded out on the back of the truck that came out. We even had a special every month. I ran a special where I'd invite all the people in the area down. We'd have signs along the highway. Hey, you ate steak, don't you? They come down a little bit further. It'd be like, roll down your window. You're going to smell it real soon. We're having a barbecue and you're invited. Free steak for everybody.
Oh, nice.
Right? And it's the closer they got, oh, you could smell it, man. It was cooking. We had the barbecues going, natural wood fires and stuff like that. They come down, and there we were. And we had the health department there. We'd call them and ask them to come down, and we'd invite fire department and police down and everybody, right? Big old party. People are like, how can you afford to do that? I'm like, well, everybody that comes here today is paying for this. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Because we'd sell out everything in a day. Like I'd have to order a whole new shipment of stuff. So, but I learned how to do that kind of stuff from, writing my own little ads, and from doing door to door, from, Arthur Conroy, who was chairman of Dial America. I think he still is, actually. He taught me how to do phone sales, and then I ran his sales team for a while, right? And telemarketing is one of the most brutal things, especially today. Good luck getting on the phone with them, right?
Yeah. I remember calling leads. My first exposure to business at all, for me, was a little bit different. I was a warehouse guy, purchaser, things like that. I joined a MLM back in 2004, at the end of 2004, because a friend of mine gave me a DVD. Sure. And that was my start. And in the MLM, I called leads, and I cut my teeth on cutting leads.
Cold calling.
Hanging up on me and cussing at me. But now it's funny because, you know what? I can cold call today, go get registered with a do not call list. Hey, and if I want to, I can go pound the phones and probably get some people into my business or offer them a freaking website or something, right? Mm-hmm. But you're going to learn so much about, you have to speak on this, selling. People scared of the word selling, but we got to sell everywhere we go, whether you're at your job, whether you want to get a raise, whether you want that girl to give you her number. So can you speak on selling and how important not being afraid of it and hating that word, instead learning to fall in love with selling?
Yeah, Joe Polish did an excellent video a while back. It's probably still on YouTube, Selling is Evil. He's sitting in his big flaming throne and everything, right? And he probably did the best presentation of this that I've ever heard before. But I'll give an example of my own. So I have a little boy, he's 9, right? He's in the Boy Scouts. And I still get heat with, you sure? Because aren't they letting girls in there now? Hey, geniuses, they've always let girls in the Scouts. It's just they're letting them get Eagle now if they want to. So if the girls participate, they can actually get points for it, right? But my boy's Cub Scout, and he's one of the older ones in the Cub Scouts now, so he's getting ready to transition up. But when he was like 5 or 6, he started selling popcorn. That's what the Scouts do, right? Well, he didn't do it like everybody else where you're going door to door or asking friends and family and stuff. Notice the friends and family thing. I'll keep going back to that, right? Friends and family be like, oh, yeah, let me buy it. What? It's how much? It's $25 for a box of popcorn? What? That's insane, because the friends and family don't get, it's a charity, it's a fundraiser. You just get this too. So if you donate at this level, you get this. If you donate at this level, then you get this, right? Where other people that support the Scouts, they just know that. So what we decided to do, we were doing the show and sells, Lowe's, every Saturday, or Friday night, Saturday morning, and Sunday, or it was Saturday evening and Sunday morning, right? And people are like, you guys are nuts. Like, you do it that many times? We did that, and then he, through me, sold some online too, because we realized on the website, if he sold it, he got a 50% commission. We're offline, he got 10% commission. So we were balancing these things. Well, he got second place in his entire council. That's over 2,000 kids, okay, across 13 districts. Yeah. The only person that beat him was our pack leader's son, who's in his den too, right? And it's the pack leader's son. If somebody cancels the show and sell, they got to go do it, right? But here's what the pack leader realized. Bobby sold half as much as his friend did, the pack leader's son, and made more commission because he leveraged the internet. Yeah. He didn't just, now we have an email list, like literally in his fundraising thing, I can remind people the next fundraising time, hey, we wanted to thank you for helping us out last year. And Bobby's new favorite thing this year is this. You might want to check that out. So every year he does this, we're building this list. But even throughout the year, we just send him a little, hey, we just wanted to say thanks again. We hope you're having a nice Easter or something like that. Yeah. Not selling. We just, keep reminding him that he's there, right? Yeah. And, a lot of the people we get on that side are friends and family. We're just like, hey, go to this website and pick out what you want. And that way he doesn't have to bring it to you or anything. It just ships straight to your door. It's all good, But selling is, I taught my kids early on. Like my daughter, she started realizing kind of this selling and marketing thing when she was about 3. Because you might even remember, man, sometimes she was sitting on my knee when I was doing my webinars and stuff, right? I wouldn't hide that from anybody. It's like I'm sitting in my dining room doing this stuff back then. And she's sitting right there. They both did that. I'd be holding them when they were little babies. I didn't care if there was a webinar I did with Janet Yeager, and it was for her MLM team, right? And an icicle come down off my roof and shattered this big picture window I had in my kitchen. I just kept on rolling. I said, hey, you guys all right in there? To my wife and my daughter. They're like, yeah, the window broke. I'm like, don't worry, I'll fix it. Take that cardboard and put it up there. And these people on the call were like, holy crap. I sold like 5 $6,000 coaching programs on that call, but you know what sold them? It was that when that window broke, I just kept on rolling.
Yeah.
And I didn't be like, oh, son of a, no, damn it. I wasn't negative. I was just like, whoops. And I laughed it off and kept on going. Trust me, in my mind, I was just like, oh, man.
Yeah.
It's winter. I got to fix that now. Right? But it was, I was teaching my kids, no matter where you are in your life, when I had cancer, doctors saying you're going to die in 6 months. And it got to the point where I was living in my truck for 2 years. Just to pay the medical, but just to live. I'm like, screw this. I'm not paying for a house and all this crap. I got to live. So I had this pickup truck, and I put a camper on the top, and I was sleeping in there, right? I was still out there selling. I was going to Brazil. I was going here. I was going there. I was going to places to make me feel better, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't have to be tied down to anything if I know how to sell. Because everybody needs something sold for their business.
Yes.
If you want to always be employed, gainfully employed, be a sales guy for other people. If you want to be an excellent entrepreneur that's always gainfully unemployed, be able to sell stuff. Because you get to, this is something I used to tell guys that work for me. If you sell for me, you get to decide whenever you want when you're going to get a pay raise. Every single time you get to make that decision. You don't come to me and say, hey, Bob, I want a pay raise. No. You decide that by going out there and increasing your conversions, going out there and selling more, right? And it might be, I'm going to sell more to this one person because that's what we do, right? As marketers, we don't focus on selling to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. We focus on increasing the lifetime value of one. And we do that with the next and do it with the next. I mean, we might do it in groups for affiliate marketing, whatever. Network marketing, that's the whole purpose of it, right? It's really about building on that. Now, I think a lot of people fall down with network marketing when they start with that because they didn't know how to sell.
Yeah.
And that's why I say get into door-to-door, get into telesales, even if it's just for a year. Do it. If you're really young, do it now. Get it out of the way because you're going to be like, man, this sucks. Or you're going to be like, it's not so bad. Like when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, right?
Yeah.
Or you're going to be kind of like, oh, I can't get enough of this. I just want more, right? That's the entrepreneur right there. That little demon that comes out and is like, oh, even on the bad days, I don't care because, and we try to justify it in our minds. Oh, 100 no's is one yes, and one yes pays off 100 no. No, screw that shit. I'm looking for 86 yeses.
Right. As many as you can, right?
Yeah. And that's why that's where we learn. Next, after learning to sell, we learn to market better so we get more yeses. And so we don't have to talk to as many people. And we could do a webinar or something to talk to 100 people at a time or even 5 people at a time, right? But selling, I've taught my kids, and my son just qualified. Every time he makes sales in Scouts now, he gets money towards scholarship. And he wants to go to school for engineering. He don't want to be like daddy. You don't want to be sales guy, right? Yeah. But he knows how to sell. My daughter, she could say, oh, man, don't ever let my kids get a hold of you. When it's fundraising time, don't let them. You'll be spending some money. I'm not joking, man, because they can, like that, they don't even try. They know the value of selling. They know that my daughter said to me last year, she goes, Daddy, I want to make some extra money because there was this blue violin she wanted. Right? She's really into violins. Go figure she's not now, right? So I hunt it down and find this blue violin. I'm like, oh, you already have a violin, and that one's like $500, so I'm not buying that. She goes, I'll earn it myself. I said, how are you going to do that? She goes, I'll sell services. I said, what kind of services? She goes, well, I like grooming pets, and she's really good at it and stuff, and we live in farm country here, right? We live in yuppie farm country. That's what I call it, right? Where my family grew up, we were in farm country, right? This is not that. So I said, well, what are you going to do? She goes, well, I know of 3 different kennels up the road, and I knew 4 different horse stables, and I'm going to sell them my services. I said, well, you got to kind of be like really good at that stuff. She goes, no, you don't. You have to know how to wash them and how to brush them. They can do the rest. Say, this is a basic service. I just sell the basic service. I'm like, you know what? If you can do that, I'll tell you what. I'll match dollar for dollar. So I'm going to pay half the violin, you pay half the violin. She goes, well, are you going to make, and this is the salesy part of her, are you going to match dollar for dollar of what I earn or dollar for dollar of what I put towards the violin? I said, okay, what's you earn? I'm thinking 11 years old at the time. Yeah, well, big deal, right? The little girl made $7,000 that summer.
Really?
From her efforts. Guess how much daddy had to pay out? Dollar for dollar, man.
Yeah.
Right? Dollar for dollar bonus. She made $14,000. But daddy's not a fool. Daddy said, here's your $7,000. She goes, what is this? I'm like, silver. 1 ounce bars of silver. Little coins. Like, you know, like I have these coins. I have a bunch of them all over the place all the time.
Yeah.
100% silver. She goes, why? I said, because 15 years from now, when you're in your 20s or whatever, I said, that silver will have the same buying power that it has today when you cash it in. It'll cash in for more than what I paid for it today, but it'll have the same buying power. But if I gave you
what's this? Oh, money.
right. I said, if I gave you these dollars and I said, here, put this in your piggy bank or something, then over that same span of time, those dollars aren't going to be as worth it. They won't buy as much as they would today.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
I said, so I want to teach you about that. I've taught you how to sell, obviously, little shit. But I want to teach you the value of this. And it's because somebody taught me the value of this. It was Henry Hillman. It wasn't my family that taught me. My family didn't know anything about this kind of stuff, right? And he taught me, grab a hold of things, invest in things that will help you maintain the buying power of things. So when she's in her 20s, she's not to cash out on her silver and stuff. That's you keep that, right? You keep it for the long haul. It's in small portions. If things got really, really tough, like I'm talking like dire, you got little kids and you can't get the groceries today. Okay, so you take 2 silver coins, you go down to the local pawn shop, cash them in for $15-20. Well, look, you got cereal and lunch money for the week or whatever. You don't want to have to do that. That's just ridiculous, right? Yeah. But if you had to, or my kids saw it firsthand, and this is why selling is critical to everybody. So write it down, folks. 2 weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving, big storm swept through Pennsylvania. In our area, took down power. My wife's grandmother and great-grandmother, who we built a house for right in the back of our property, their power went out completely, which meant all of our water went out because our pump power is hooked to their house. Phone lines, electric lines, everything snapped in two. People come down at our house and they saw we had lights on. We had food. We were cooking in the backyard. We were doing Dutch oven, all kinds of stuff, right? We were fine. Everyone's like, how are you guys doing this? Because Daddy invested in generators and hookups and water storage, and I'm prepper big time, food storage. So when you have the money, invest in the things that provide for your family for when you don't have the money. Because if you're in sales or you're in business, trust me when I say there will be a time that you don't have the money.
Yeah, there'll be dry seasons and hard winters and
some people are like, oh no, I'm gonna be like, freaking, like Ron Douglas rich, right? Ask Ron Douglas about the hard times.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through them as entrepreneurs, everybody. Okay. Or you might make a mistake and you might lose everything.
Yeah.
Right. But I always say get to the point where you owe the banks nothing. And you do that by selling, knowing how to sell. Right. And when I say you owe the banks nothing, that means you don't owe them for your car. You don't owe them for your house. You own your stuff. Investment properties, you can do mortgages and all that stuff. When it's your home, let's call it your forever home. Even if you don't know you're going to be there forever, that's your home. You protect it. The banks don't own it. The government will always own it. Because if you don't pay your taxes on your property, you're screwed. And that comes into the other part is if you're doing sales and you're learning how to be an entrepreneur, balance home with selling. That means don't buy too much home.
Exactly.
Look at us. I've been doing this for a long time, man, right? I got 2 little kids and my wife, 2 dogs and like 4 cats or some stupid crap like that. But it's a 3-bedroom ranch home that we have. Nothing fancy, man. Driving down through Pennsylvania, it's like, oh, look at that cute little house. That's my house. It's right. That little cute little house, right? I used to have the bigger house and I had all the cars and stuff. And I can afford them. I paid for them. But it was so stressful, man. I had all this stuff, and this stuff needed fixed. Quite honestly, if I went away for a day with the family, we're all out for the day and everything, I come back and a tornado came through and swept my house away. I'd be like, honey, call Sears. We got to have another Craftsman home built.
Right.
It can be replaced like that.
Yeah.
Right? No big deal. If I want to build onto it, make it bigger, I can. But my family's not growing anymore. I don't need to do that. Right? But what if it did? I could add on to it.
Now you had the freedom instead of maybe some cookie cutter big old home somewhere where you're in one of these communities where you can't add on to nothing because
that's it. If you ever interview Russell Brunson, he used to tell a story. He's a good sales guy too.
Yeah.
And he shows this picture of the first house him and his wife built when he went into business or bought when he went into business for himself. Tiny little, crap hole of a house, right? But I bet you it's still today probably the proudest moment for him
of course.
in his life because they did that themselves. You guys you have to understand that selling isn't about, and I tell people this in the outdoors niche when I'm teaching them how to make bow drill fires and all this other stuff. Everybody thinks it's because we want to survive. That's why we learn that skill. It's not. It makes us feel really freaking good when we accomplish that.
Yeah.
When you make that first sale, you might have spent $10,000 to make 20 because you goofed up 50,000 times. We hope that you find these people that we tell you about and seek out Frank and people like you to teach them. They can't afford me right now.
Right.
Because I don't want to do it so much right now, teaching other people, that I charge way too much. I figure if people can afford that, yeah, I'll do it. I charge too much because I want to write. I enjoy writing, right? But if somebody come to me and say, hey, Bob, I'll pay you this much, there's a magic number. I don't tell people what it is. If they told me that, I'd be like, all right, yeah, okay. I'll do it. But here's what I got to say. When you learn it the right way and you make the big hit, and make sure you have somebody on standby to tell you what to do with that big hit once you get it.
Yeah.
Because pay your taxes, right? Square it away. Give yourself 20% of your sales first. And that doesn't mean go spend it. That means put it away, invest it in something that's going to grow for you and your family. Pay the tax guy, pay your bills, right? Pay your affiliates. They come first. They come before everybody because you don't have to pay taxes on their monies, right? And make sure you get the right paperwork. Have them fill out a W-9, or if you're in an affiliate network like JVZoo or something like that, get W-9 done. Learn how to do business stuff. Learn how to sell. And if you just know those two things, I know how to keep my books straight. I know how to do sales and marketing. You're usually pretty good. You don't ever even have to own a product. Yeah. And that's why selling is key to the whole thing. If you don't know selling, not marketing, advertising, all these other things don't even matter.
Yeah.
Won't even matter, right?
So as far as selling, give me a 2-minute tip for those watching on if someone's doing something belly to belly, kneecap to kneecap, or over the phone, what's the quickest way to make sure they increase the chance of some kind of positive conversion in the beginning, especially for new people that maybe they might, try to sell, meaning all they're doing is talking about the features and all this of what they're trying to sell.
Don't do that. Right. I'll tell you 2 short stories real quick, and then I'll kind of give an idea. These are both belly-to-belly situations and both cold, okay? When we were in that steak selling business, and dude, we were selling them crates of steak for like $400 a pop, right? That's not an easy sell, right? No, it's not. First thing I did was, and take this into your head and kind of process this, I found where all my competitors were looking for rich upscale neighborhoods, I was looking for neighborhoods with toys in the yards and barbecue grills on the back porch. Yeah. And with their local volunteer fire department close by and things like that. Volunteer fire departments and police officers bought a lot of that stuff. And I always went to the borough office and got a permit to sell in the area, which the other guys didn't do that. See, you knew I was confident about my abilities because I went the legal route. Yeah. Where other guys went in and tried to solicit in neighborhoods that didn't allow it without a permit, right? So notice I said earlier, invested money in getting the health department to come out and check out my stuff and doing it properly and all these different things, right? I was the guy that showed people I'm not afraid to sell to you, and I will invest in you to make sure this is a safe and quality experience for you. I didn't have to sell that, did I? They could see it, right? My permit was in my back window. I had the health department stamp right here, had my phone number in great big letters right here. Wasn't hiding from anybody like some marketers hide behind their websites and things nowadays, right? So I wasn't doing churn and burn in these neighborhoods. People got to know me as the meat guy. Hey, here's the meat guy, catch him. But one of my cold pitches, if I pulled up in the gas station parking lot and I was having a bad day and I was putting gas in the truck, people walk by, if they took a look at that freezer, I'm like, hey, you eat steak, don't you? That was my pitch. They're like, yeah. Why? What do you got? I'm like, here, come here. Here, take a box of these burgers home to your kids. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, go ahead and take them home to your kids. Well, what else you got in there? I'm like, you can't have the rest of that for free. I'm like, go ahead and just take them home to your kids, right? It's just a good deed of the day, basically.
Yeah.
Right? But notice the pitch. Hey, you eat steak, don't you? They're either going to say yes or no. That's how quick I'm going to qualify them. They're either going to say yes or no. If they say, no, I don't eat steak, what am I going to say? Oh, okay, sorry to bother you. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Easy, right? Am I upset that they said no? Well, no. What if they're vegetarian or something?
Yeah.
Fruitarians, right? Who cares, right? But it was about that simple yes or no. Get the qualification out of the way. Are they interested? If they are interested, say, here, what did I give them? What's the burgers? What was that? It was a lead magnet, wasn't it? Because my brochure's in there. This was a prepared lead magnet. Here you go. Here's 4 burgers in this box, steak burgers. Take that home to your kids, right? Now that cost me money because I'm in a physical business, right? But isn't that what you guys did in network marketing with the little soda cans and everything else? Here, have a sample. Here, have a DVD. Here, when you watch this, give me a call when you're done, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
When I was in MLM, I didn't sell the opportunity. I sold the retail product.
Right.
I let the retail product in that company's back-end marketing sell them on the opportunity. People are like, no, you want to sell the opportunity. No. I can always make money off the retail product, and I'm never going to make anybody feel uncomfortable.
Right.
If
Especially, have faith.
Tell me more.
Yeah. If they see you have faith in the product, then that sells them right there. If
Absolutely.
you have no faith in the product, then you need to find a different company because you got to have faith in what you
That's gold, what you just said. If you don't have faith in the product, you likely shouldn't be part of the company.
Yes.
Right? And that was with my meat selling company. We had the cemetery businesses, right? Imagine selling that product.
Yeah, I know.
Not an easy one. And it didn't make much money because once they were in the ground, dude, right? I had so much land to go around. So I made agreements with other JV partnerships. See how this all comes together no matter what industry you're in. The tombs monument business, guys that had granite monuments. So I'm like, bring out some of your displays. I'll sell them. You guys give me 15%. They're like, okay. Grave digger guys and land upgrade guys and guys that planted shrubs and everything. Hey, you guys can sell your stuff through here. I'll put out brochures for your stuff when these folks come out to visit the cemeteries, but you give me 10%. See how that worked? I got the cemetery business that never made any money, which it usually doesn't. I got it to be profitable. So we grew that. We had 16 cemeteries instead of 4, and kept adding to it. And then when I left after my dad passed away, I sold those contracts off to other people, right? Along with caretakers' houses that we still had on those properties. So I did something that my family couldn't do for 100 years. I made that business profitable. Before it was just like, we just cut the grass, dig the graves, and we get to live there. Oh, I thought that was stupid. Why do I want to cut the grass when I can pay somebody else to do it? Get this place to pay for itself, right? But I think the key to all of this, Frank, is it's the key that I said before. When you're doing the belly-to-belly thing, get them to show interest themselves. You don't have to pitch it. Second example was I was walking into a filling station, and I knew this guy. I talked to this owner of this place for years, ever since I was a little kid, right? Never tried to sell him anything. He wasn't a friend of the family or anything, just that guy in the neighborhood that you know, right? And I walked in, and I'm looking at the sign on the door. This is after I came online, and I had eWeb Marketing Management, if you remember that company before I sold it, right? And there's a sign on the door. It's just a little pink flyer. You know how gas station do that? It's like special of the day, that kind of thing. It said, like our Facebook page. And I'm thinking, why?
Right.
So I went up to him. I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. You marketing on Facebook. And he goes, you do that web stuff, don't you? And I'm like, sometimes. I said, why are you marketing on Facebook? He goes, well, you got these bigger chains down the road and they're putting us all out of business. I got to do something. Isn't that what they're doing? I'm like, no, that's not what they're doing. They're creating their own apps and their own user-friendly websites. And they also sell food made to order. So people could just pick up their smart device and order it here, either pick it up or have it delivered to their door. You're not doing any of that. You sell gas and candy bars. Mm-hmm. Like, don't waste your time with it unless you're willing to upgrade your business, because if you're going to compete with those boys, at least compete in a way that's going to be affordable to you. You're going to make more profit, and you're going to save this business for your kids for when they grow up. We said, okay, I want to hire you. What do I do? I'm like, pay me a big check of $7,800 and I'll sit down and teach you what to do. Mm-hmm. He went in the back room, wrote out $7,800. Trust, man, right? It was real trust. But it was more than that. I'm like, you eat steak, don't you? It was, hey, I see you're advertising on Facebook.
And you pointed out just in that couple sentences before some things that they were doing, and you opened his eyes right then and there, like, oh, damn, I didn't even.
Yeah, because he's too close to it.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm the same way. You're the same way. We're too close to certain things in our business. So we have to, somebody points something out to us. And at first we're just kind of like, hey, we got this. We don't need that kind of advice. Right. But if you're smart enough, you always just say, hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Even if you don't mean it, say it.
Yeah.
Here's why. Because when you sleep on it and you wake up the next day and you're just kind of like, yeah, they're right. Yeah, well, you look like a dick earlier to somebody that was just trying to help you out. Yeah. People have this need all the time to feel like they need to help you out. Maybe they're having a bad day, or maybe they struggled in their business. Maybe they're having a bad year and they just wanted to help somebody, feel like they were contributing. As soon as you say, I don't need to do anything like that, you just stole that from them. You stole that feeling from them.
Exactly. Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's that reciprocity. It's
yes.
about being around people and contributing and getting back, right? I call it selfless acts of selfishness.
Say hi to Mr. Bob.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
He's got good head.
Yeah, I probably still do too, man. When I woke up, right around the time you sent me a link, hey, let's get on the call. I'm like, all right, man, let's go.
Yeah. No, same thing I was like, man, do I give him too late? But I know we all got stuff going on. I'm like, they're going to show up 2-3 minutes before because, hey, why are you going to show up?
I just set an alarm right by my head. You know what that alarm is? It's Facebook Messenger.
Oh, yeah.
So when I get up and get the kids off school, I'm up early in the morning, like all the time. But I stay up. It's not that I get up. I stay up. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a nap until I got to do that thing. Because I'm a writer. We take naps, man.
Yeah.
So
Edison took a lot of naps. So I remember that. So.
But the only time I'll ever keep a smartphone with the Wi-Fi still on and things like that, not in airplane mode, while I'm sleeping, is when it's like it's middle of the day, I'm just taking a nap. Messenger goes off. I'm like, okay, I'm up. It's time to do the thing, right? Or my wife messages me, hey, are we going to have lunch today or not? Because she still works a job. And I think that's the other thing, man. My wife's still a preschool teacher. She still works a job. People are like, oh, why? Why does she have to work a job? Well, because medical insurance in the United States is stupid when it costs you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month because you're an independent entrepreneur.
Yes.
So, but she works there, and she gets to have a fulfilling job working with these pleasant little kids. Well, sometimes
she wants to. You're not having her do it. She wants to do it. So. She's not working at some big corporate office building. Well, she could easily work in a psychologist practice or something like that. She don't want to do that. She want to work with little kids. She likes working with little kids. Before that, she worked with kids that went through, abuse issues and things like that. Mm-hmm. So she worked her way up to be able to just work with kids in general. But it's mainly because she gets some medical insurance for like $500 a month, dude. Yeah.
And people are like, yeah, but if you're not making that much, you can be on Medicaid. Let me tell you this right now.
Yeah.
Every social welfare program out there is a social trap to keep you in a place of needing and wanting and desiring. Once you're on it, tell me, man, tell me you don't know. Once you're on it, they don't want you off of it.
No, it's
They try to keep
so
you
easy.
locked in forever.
Yeah, and
That's,
then we've seen this before in our families before. You put yourself in a box and you give yourself these limitations. Well, I can't make too much money because then they'll find out
there it is.
stuff like that. Oh, so you'll stay poor so you can keep getting some.
There it is. You got it. You nailed it. And people are like, well, Bob, what do you know about that? Cancer for 8 years, dying, living in lower north side Pittsburgh. I know, because here's the thing. And people think about these in different ways. Like, the white German guy, he got nothing to worry about. Yeah, that's right. This white German guy couldn't get any help at all.
Right.
Single, young, white German guy could not get any help at all. None. They wouldn't help me with food. They wouldn't help me with medical. They wouldn't help me with anything at all. You know when they wanted to help me? After I was recovered, married, and my wife was pregnant.
Right.
That's when they wanted to help.
Now you fit in.
Yeah, I fitted into that mold. And you know what? Their offer to help was, oh, no, your kids will have free medical until they're all grown up. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't trust anybody gives me something for free for nothing.
Yeah.
Why would I want that? I don't plan on being – this is social welfare programs. There was a congressman that explained this to me because, I write a lot of political campaigns for people, content for politicians. It doesn't matter what party they're from if they're doing good things for people. That's my qualifications for them. But he explained this. There is this young man, he was in his 20s, and he's doing well as an entrepreneur, like super good, man. And he's a good seller, right? He's a platform stage speaker and good at selling. And he said, hey, how do you come from a neighborhood where everybody was on welfare, everybody was on Medicaid, everybody got everything, the Obama phones and everything else, right? How did you get past this? He goes, well, when everybody wanted the Jordans, he goes, I put the money away because I wanted to buy the business books or the business courses or go to that seminar and learn. He goes, when all my friends turned 16 and they were buying the cars, he goes, I was putting money away to go see Tony Robbins because I heard people got a great experience out of that. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
He goes, and when I saw everybody standing in line at the office to get their EBT cards and all that stuff, I said, screw this. I'm not signing up for these programs. I'm not going to be part of this system where they're going to keep me here and make me think this is a safety net when actually it's a cage. And the congressman told me, he explained to this kid, the kid said, he goes, I want to help my family do this. I want to help my neighborhood do this. He goes, how can I explain to them so they understand what welfare was really about? He said, it's easy. Welfare is a mountain. Mm-hmm. Okay. At the top, this is a place you never want to get to. This is a place you have wounded veterans, you have old folks, you have people with Down syndrome, people that can't help themselves in life. They can't, there's just no other way. That's what those programs are for. You come down the mountain a little bit, you might have, that person, their house burned up and they got to replace it, or they lost their job or something. So they got to kind of be here for a little while, but the goal is always come back down the mountain
and get off. Yeah.
Don't ever reach the plateau. Don't ever reach that very, very top where a lot of people want to stay. Get yourself back off the mountain, because we're getting more and more people on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And the system can't handle it. What happens is if you get too many people on top of the mountain, there's going to be an avalanche. It's all going to fall down, right? But the whole thing is we don't have a system that teaches people to stay off the mountain.
Yeah.
We have a system that puts lemonade stands at McDonald's and Starbucks on the mountain to attract the people to it, right? I told you I come from a poor family. Poor in the pocketbook, not poor in the head, right? So every generation of our family got better and better and better and better. Not everybody in my generation and my family got better. Some of them, they're over there trying to claw up the mountain, right? Where I was just like, no. I want to raise my kids to be able to create for themselves. Know that there's a system there available for them if they're hurt and they're down, but they're probably not going to get an opportunity to use it unless they fit in that box. Yeah. But it was what you said a little while ago. They create this safety net. Hey, don't make $5 more, or we're going to take part of the net away.
Yeah, exactly.
And it scares people. They're like, well, wait, I can't. $5 more isn't going to be enough to not need the net, and they know that. Okay, the system is not geared to make you successful. They don't teach success principles in school. The government's not handing out paperwork. But, you know, there's Napoleon Hill wrote How to Raise Your Own Salary.
Mm-hmm.
Just so everybody knows, that was what Think and Grow Rich was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of elites didn't want him to release that book, like Henry Ford and all those guys. So he waited, and he released it to look like a book about jobs. That's the book you want to buy. How to Raise Your Own Salary by Napoleon Hill. Acres of Diamonds, right? As a Man Thinketh. And it sounds cheesy, all this personal development stuff. We're from the network marketing world. We understand why these books were important.
Right. And they still are, even if you're not in any kind of network marketing company or any kind of business. Maybe you just want to get to become the freaking CEO of your company, maybe. Right. You got to learn the stuff that are in here because you can translate it into your world, whatever that world is. And it all relates to getting better than you were yesterday. And that's the main thing. That's my main thing. I preach to my kids all the time. You can't stay the same. You have to increase your value as much as you can daily. And, right now we preach to the choir, but amen. I love, all that stuff.
Well, hey, man, like, people say, things like, well, how do you know when you're really good at sales? You practice it. It's like anything. Like I do woodcraft with my kids. That's where we go out in the woods. We actually make things, furniture, all kinds of stuff out of what's all around us and everything, right? Because it's part of one of my businesses, the outdoors business. Well, my son asked me one time, hey, Daddy, how do I know when I got it down with using a fixed blade knife and that kind of thing, carving and stuff? I said, when you can't do it wrong. Selling is that. You do it till you can't do it wrong.
Right.
And then you sell the next thing till you can't do it wrong. But here's the big lesson takeaway, right? People say, how to make, I want to become super like wealthy, not just money, but I want to buy good food. I want to have a nice home. I want to be able to exercise at the gym and have nice things for my family, not be in debt or anything. I want to have a nice, balanced, wealthy life because that's what wealth really is, right? It's not just the money. We know that, right? And they said, but it starts with money. You're right. You want to go take your family on a vacation to Greece? It costs money to get there. You're right. So if you want to give your kids better experiences, better education, and a better neighborhood, whatever it may be, right? It costs money to get there, right? People are like, well, how can I do that faster? And it goes like this: sell expensive things to rich people.
There you go. Hey, amen. That's it.
That's it.
That's all we need to hear because it's like, it's better than selling, something that's $5. Mm-hmm. It's just as easy to sell something that's $5 as it is something that's $5,000 or $50,000.
Many times it's easier to sell the $5,000 thing because the people that buy that understand the value.
Yeah, they know the value. It's exactly versus from your online experience, who refunds more? The people that bought the $7 book or the people that paid you $7,000?
Well, I'll answer that this way by asking you another question. Frank, have you ever known me to sell the $7 book?
No.
No, yeah. I don't sell the $7 book.
That's right.
Oh, it's not. I don't just sell high ticket. Because when I do copywriting, sometimes you'll see me. You'll see it if you're watching my. Well, you know where to watch me because that's how you messaged me the other day. I'm not telling everybody else. God, I don't have thousands of followers all over the place. You know me, right? But if you watch every once in a while, you'll see that 2 sales pages for $750. I'd be willing to write that. You know the price of that stuff in our industry is not $750 for even one, let alone
close.
Why do you think I do those things?
You know what? I've learned from, I think, Russell Brunson, if you want something like a toy, you want something, go make the money instead of dipping into what you have or dipping into, the money you already have saved for whatever you got going on. Instead, make it fun and say, hey, let me see if I can raise the money for that thing, that toy or whatever. You go have a little quick sale.
I look at it a little differently than Russell did, but same concept, just a little bit differently. Here's how I look at it. Millionaires, multimillionaires, do not live off $1 million a year. They live off of their relationships. They live off of the sponsorships. They live off of the interest in their investments, which a lot of times, if you took $1 million and you were able to safely invest it and got 6% return on your investment each year, you got $60,000, take off some tax money, you got about 45. That's the money they use for everyday spending money, right? Okay. My copywriting experience and my selling experience, my ability to craft a message to sell other people's expensive things to rich people, right? That's what I do. I craft messages that sells other people's expensive things to rich people, right? My ability to do that came from an investment in myself, didn't it? Of time and work and hard sweat equity and money too. When I offer the 750 packages, it's just the interest.
Yeah.
I get to live off the interest, right? I can do the big jobs, but man, you ever sit down and work on a 12-month campaign for a United States congressman to write up their content marketing campaign? Do you know what that looks like?
I wouldn't even want to begin and think about that. Yeah, that's.
I wish I didn't
work.
It is a lot, but it's a year's worth of, it can be very lucrative if you know how to do it and you've been doing it for a while. But most of the time it's a pain in the butt. Mm-hmm. So my wife's like, hey, how do you want me to pay this month? I'm like, no, hold on. Tip.
Exactly.
Offer.
Kind of like what I did before.
Pay for itself in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. That investment right there grows too. That investment of putting that offer out there and getting that person to grab that 750 offer. How many of those people that grab the seven, those, you see the people that I'm connected to, they're not the ebook buyers and stuff, right?
It's going to turn into, hello, hey, Bob, that shit's killing it. I need some more stuff done.
And I say, okay, well, can I get it for the same price? Yeah, plus 5%.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You can get it for the same price, plus 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I do that? I was going to keep on paying me.
Right. Exactly.
Keep on going. I'm like, hey, and once I get that 5%, that revenue share, that equity share, sort of, right? I say to them, are you going to keep selling that thing? Because I don't do that for people that do the churn and burn marketing. I do it for the people that have an evergreen product they're regularly going to be selling. Why? Because I invested my asset into that, right? My skill set. So what I do is I'm giving it away. A lot of copywriters are going to be like, you do what now, Bob? Right? Basically what I do is I'll call them up in like a month and I'm making money off of it, right? And I say, you want to make more? And they're like, yeah, let me write your emails for you because your emails suck. Well, how much I pay for you? You're going to keep on paying me a revenue share, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, then get out of my way.
There you go.
Do the thing that I love to do, right? So a lot of people don't realize when I do my work, I'm not looking for, and this is what kills me. You watch my posts, you'll see all these top high-end mentors and strategy coaches. Bob, you should be charging more for your stuff. You should charge at least $25,000 for it. Those assholes aren't coming up to me and saying, I want to give you $25,000 for this thing. Those guys also aren't seeing what I'm selling on the back end and the 5% residuals deals that I'm making or the 10% residual deals, right? They're not seeing the JVs that I'm making. They're not seeing that most of my clients have been with me for over 15 years.
Yes, long-term income. Yeah.
And this is the part that'll really kill you. In this industry, the direct response marketing, I'm not going to say internet marketing because I don't believe there is an internet marketer. Mm-hmm. There's a direct response marketer. In this industry, I only say that because if you limit yourself to just the internet,
right, exactly.
Foolish, right? But in this industry, there's this disease of people thinking that you got to take everybody for what they got, take everything out of the well all at once, and then once it dries up, run away. And with the offers that I give, here's the first thing that happens. They can make their money back immediately. I can tell them to send this one email out, and they'll make that money back that they paid me, right? The next thing is I don't have to rake people over to coals. I make strategic partnerships with people. So yeah, they pay me to get my attention, to get that first thing written, sure, right? But after that, if I see value in their service, I see value in their business and what they're contributing, I'm like, okay, yep. Next time they ask for something, I'm going to ask for a little bit more. I'm going to want a piece of that, right?
Yeah.
Because
it's smart business.
Yeah, and when I have these relationships, this is the big takeaway, and this is going to shock everybody. Is really going to, they're going to be like, what? In this environment of internet marketers that everybody likes to call themselves internet marketers, right? But in direct response marketing, providing the services I provide, how many refunds you think I've had in my 25-year career?
Probably none.
None. When I've sold digital products, sure. But in the service industry, none. All right. Have I screwed up? Yep. I've screwed up quite a few times over the years. Took on too much work, wasn't able to complete that project. I always made up for it. I always went back and made up for it, and I owned it every single time. And I'd publicly own it before they got a chance to publicly smear me, because you also know what this industry is like.
Yeah.
If you write copy for somebody, they're going to tell everybody else what you did wrong.
Exactly.
It's going to happen. The whole industry talks, right?
And you just mentioned something there. Like, you have these things, these bumps in the road, and that's what I just want to point out real quick. We all do. Don't think that, all the people you watch and follow on social media, guys, they got it made. No, they got bumps in the road too that you don't see. They're not going to put their dirty laundry out there or their drama, especially because that's just not how you build a following either.
Sure.
But you can relate and share every once in a while when something, goes wrong. Like right now, my son's been in here in the background. I'm not getting mad.
That's why I'm trying to watch my language. It's just
he's fine. But it's just, it makes it real, right? Like when that window broke, it makes it real. This might be a better interview than with Ron. Sorry, Ron, because somebody said, "Oh my God, his son."
Hey, Ron, guess what?
Yeah, because my son walked in, and it's like, wow, he works from home,
Mm-hmm.
And so, so what you're saying, from everything you're saying, don't give up, sell some stuff,
mm-hmm.
and freaking invest in yourself.
Yeah, and find somebody to help you along the way. And finding somebody to help you along the way doesn't mean dropping 10 grand for a mentor all the time.
Right.
It just means you bought that book. You watched that DVD. You were watching that YouTube video. But there's got to be a time and a place where you say, okay, I learned it. Now I'm going to apply. I'm going to create a plan. And you know what? If you're not sure about how to start a business and you live like towards the city or something, go to a local SCORE group. Tell one of the mentors there, it's free, what you're planning on doing. They'll help you write up a business plan.
Yeah.
Right. And don't start your business on debt. Start it on personal sweat equity. Right. Yeah. But if you can, when you can afford to, and you know what you're doing to invest in your business, invest in your business. Don't try to do, well, I'm just going to get free leads from posting articles and YouTube videos. No, you're not. If you want to still be here 30 years from now, okay, go ahead and do that. Or keep learning, keep growing. Go to seminars. Learn from people who know. Invest in advertising. You don't do that all at once. You do it little bits at a time.
Yeah.
That's all.
And the main thing is to keep doing something instead of just
every single day.
Bob's got it so great. I wish I could go hunting all the time like Bob. Instead, just listen to this again and see what you can take from it and act on it. And one thing I tell people, listen, as long as you never quit and you keep trying, eventually you're going to start seeing some stuff happen.
Yeah, and look, folks, we all go through it. I got a client right now that's traveling through Europe, and they love to show on social media all the things they're doing. They still owe me 38 grand for 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't have any money, Bob. Oh, yeah, skiing in the Alps? Really? No. Right? But I just let it flow. I'm like, you keep on skiing over there because you're not getting anything from me anymore.
Right.
And that's the way. So we all hit our blips. When you hear, Bob goes hunting all the time. My family's always done that. You know what the last name Yeager means?
No.
Hunter.
Oh,
it was a family profession for thousands of years, so it's, and I live in Pennsylvania. We all freaking hunt. We do. but it's more of, I bought this property. I want to enjoy it. Like if I can do my writing from anywhere, I can be up in a tree stand hunting. I can be in a ground blind. I can be making a fire, having a campfire, just eating my lunch or whatever. I can be writing from anywhere. I can take phone calls from anywhere. Not while I'm hunting, though. You call me while I'm hunting.
No.
We got some issues, man. Right? But it's really about, it helps me. I do work at home, so it helps me walk away from work. Because I walk past my office, all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's in part of our living space. That's why I have these fancy curtains hanging here. So
I've done
everything else, right? I don't have an office. I don't want an office, right? But so hunting helps me get out of it. And that's why I started the outdoors business, because that's the business I love. I truly, truly love. I just happen to be really good at marketing and selling, so I can apply those skill sets to that business. And I'm not an idiot. I'm never going to stop copywriting, ever. You learn that skill on top of your belly-to-belly and phone sales skills. Holy God. You're good. You're set for life. You're good.
Yeah. Well, listen, Bob, I want to thank you for your time. I know we went over a little bit, but thank you. This is a lot of good stuff. I'm going to freaking, listen to this while I'm driving a couple times because, you know what, the people that are growing never stop growing. And I, like you say, you know, you mentioned earlier before we started, I'm a sponge when it comes to stuff like this. And it's just like, you know, I got to keep on, you know, seeing what I can get from my relationships and from what I learn from people like you, because I just want to go to the next level, because I want to be an example to my kids. And
Sure.
so when they become men themselves, you know, they're going for it too, and not, you know, at that top of the mountain, like you're saying.
It starts with them watching us do this kind of thing and saying that, even they're hearing it as background noise,
exactly,
white noise, right? It starts with this. That's how our kids get better. They'll become better than us just because it'll annoy us. My daughter's going to be 13 in a couple of weeks, and she makes me feel stupid every day, right? But that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
that means I'm doing it right. That means you're doing it right, you know?
No, exactly. And thank you for taking your time, you know, taking the time for this. I'm going to share it with everyone. And you guys watching, if you liked it, you know, give it a share, you know, and just, you know, take what you learned from this and do something with it. Apply it. Take notes, of course, as always. And thank you, Bob. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the next one.